What do you need to be doing if you're playing ECNL and you want to play college soccer? I'm the college soccer guy, and I help you play college soccer. So, first off, you have to understand there are different levels within the ECNL. There are teams that go on to make playoffs, and there are teams that sometimes don't. And it can vary per year, and it can vary per player, and it can vary per coach and team, etc., where you land in the ECNL process. Also, what matters is how many minutes you're playing. So let's just break it down to make it slightly simpler. If you are playing if you're playing ECNL and you want to play college soccer, first of all, you're doing a great job. There is an argument that you should be trying to play MLS next, but I'm going to take that argument aside for a second because ECNL is still a very good place to play college soccer. Now, the reason for this is two reasons. One, and this is specifically for the boys and the girls, there are showcases in which you are attending where college coaches are going. So that's number one reason. Number two reason is the college soccer world has deemed this level, specifically on the women's side, the highest level of high school age soccer. So if you're a high school age person and you're playing at this level, you're playing at the highest level on the girls' side and probably the second highest level or very close to the highest level on the boys' side. So my students recently, because the playoffs weren't that long ago, I'm filming this in early July, so the playoffs were in mid-June to late June. The college coaches would email our students and say, look, I will be at the following events. And on that list are a couple ECNL showcases and ECNL playoffs. The hard part is, let's say you are on an ECNL team and you don't make playoffs. Well, first of all, you have to do the best you can. You can't control every year if you make it or not. And if you're not even playing ECNL, then you're not going to have a chance to go to those playoffs. So the good news is, if you're playing in ECNL, at least you have a chance. The other reason is when you email coaches, they are much more likely to read your emails. So let's say you do make it into playoffs. Now you're going to showcases where these coaches are going to be. Still doesn't mean you're going to play college soccer. Again, all this does is increase the chances. You still need to email them beforehand. You still need to send them lots of video. You still will have to go to their ID camps. And ideally, you may even go to some of their games in the fall to further show how much you're interested in them. Now, let's say you've gotten the interest, right? You're an ECNL player. Say you didn't make it into playoffs, but you're an ECNL player. You are already having conversations with coaches. Then you say to me, college soccer guy, I've already had conversations, but it's kind of dead. Like, I haven't heard from this coach in a long time, and I don't really know if this coach is still interested in me. I did talk to them. I even had a phone call with them. Like, I don't know what to do now. If you're in that boat, the next stage you need to do is frankly call me because I need to basically, as a doctor, look at the x-ray, which would be looking at your emails, see exactly what they said, see exactly what you said back to them. And that's usually how I'm able to diagnose like why they're not responding to you, because it's usually not that they're not interested in you any longer. It's usually your form of communication was very poorly done, either the way you followed up with them, either what you said in your emails, the way you haven't followed up with them. And that's usually why a lot of those conversations die, or what you call being ghosted. And I would say that's 90% of the process, not the emails, not even your video. It's the communication process. How is it that you communicate them via email so you can get responses back? And this is not rocket science or anything. It's not magical woo-woo. It's how you phrase a question. It's how you write an email. Are you being extra polite, dear coach? Are you asking a question at the end of your email? Is your email too long? Is it poorly formatted? These small things really go a long way. And then the big thing is you have to be able to read between the lines. So if a college coach says to you, I want to see you at a college ID camp, you as a family may go, well, are you just saying that to everybody or just saying it to me? There's a certain way to respond to that email to find out if it's genuine or not. And there's also a certain way to go, you know what, with your situation, whether it's genuine or not, you should go to that ID camp because that's the best chance you're going to have of getting recruited. Now, because you're playing ECNL, there's a good chance that they are interested in you if they see you. And I have one player that I want to tell you the story of. This particular player is playing on a very good ECNL team. We started together their junior year, going into their senior year. And they were, talking to schools before they spoke to me. They were talking to Furman and Davidson, and the student was like, look, I've spoken to these schools, but I since haven't heard from them in a long time, and I don't really know what to do. And, they really want to play college soccer. So this particular student has phenomenal grades and hadn't considered any Division III programs. So, look, my job is to get you the most attention possible. That's what I'm good at. If you only focus on your top Division I schools and you're not getting a lot of feedback from them, you may end up not playing college soccer. So the first thing you have to do is you have to say, okay, we haven't heard from them. Let's figure out why. So in this particular student's case, they weren't really responding like in the most efficient way, meaning they would send an email going like, hey, I'm just following up with you. I haven't heard from you in a while. That's not really a great way to follow up with a college coach. You want to be a little bit more specific. Dear coach, I followed up with you a number of times. I understand you're very busy. May I please confirm you're looking for the X position for the class of X? Then the coach will much more likely to respond to that type of email that's very specific to your situation. With this particular player, though, college coaches all know each other, okay? The coaches from Bowdoin know the coaches at Dartmouth, that know the coaches at Carnegie Mellon. The college world is very small. So, because of that, you cannot, I would say, rest on your laurels where you've gone. I've spoken to a couple Division I schools. I haven't heard from them in a few months, but I'm going to go to their ID camp and then they'll see me and then I'll get recruited. You can do that, and if it works for you, great for you, but it didn't work for me, and it doesn't work for the number of students that reach out to me who are using NCSA and those other platforms, because those platforms claim to connect you. Okay, I'm not going to connect you to anybody. I'm going to teach you the recruiting process, which is how you get good at getting recruited, which is why we have this success for our students. I'm teaching them how to get recruited, which is like if you give a person a fish, they get one fish. If I teach you how to fish, you're going to get hundreds of fish. And that's kind of my motto with the way we do things. So with this student, we said to them, look, you are not getting recruited ultimately by those Division I schools. Despite having calls with them, despite them showing interest, you are dead in the water. So here's the first step. We're going to approach Division III schools that are very high level because he is a very good player. In his case, not only have I determined he's a Division I level player, other college coaches have told him the same thing. But his level of interest is varied. Sometimes they're super interested. Sometimes they see him in ID camp. Remember, he didn't make ECNL playoffs, so he couldn't go to their showcases. He didn't get to be seen at as many tournaments as he would have liked. So he's got to depend on ID camps. So the way he's going to do it, he's going to email Division III schools that I've identified for him that are very good. All of those Division III schools are also recruiting the same kids at the Division I level because that's how competitive it is at the top Division IIIs. We're skipping Division II entirely because of his grades are so good. Academically speaking, it will just make more sense for him and his family that he goes to a top academic Division III school. Then we are going to get interest, which he's gotten. He's gotten a lot of interest from top academic Division IIIs. We've then gone back to the Division I schools and said, look, I have interest. They're asking for me to make a decision in the next month or so. You are my top school. I've told the Division III coach, you're my top school. Can I please ask where I stand? And then the college coach, Davidson, in this case, got back to the student and said, look, you're not in our top 10 list. You're probably in our top 30 list. If these two other midfielders commit, that we were going to take them before you, but we don't know if they're going to commit. So it's up to you how you'd like to continue through the recruiting process. This was huge for the student. Now the student goes, okay, great. I know where I stand. I'm in the second group. I'm not in the first group. But if those players don't commit, I may get to go to my dream school. So you know what? In the meantime, I'm going to start pursuing other Division I schools. And I can even tell those Division I schools, I'm in the top 20 list of Division I programs. I'm looking forward to coming to your ID camp. And then that school then has level of interest in you as well. He can then leverage that back to Division III schools, in which he actually quite liked a lot of those Division III schools. I know all of you want to play Division I, which is lovely. But if you have phenomenal grades, you're playing ECNL, you don't want to play Division I at any school. You'd be lying to yourself, and so will your parents be lying to yourself. You want to play at a top academic school. So then you want to find the right school for you. And I can tell you right now, I'm all for academics. I care more about that than soccer. But in saying that, I can tell you now, your experience is going to be dictated based off your coach. So I want you to take away only thinking about Division I. I think you should think about Division I. It's what makes you get better. But then you want to consider, look, I may only play Division I. It's all I want. But I also really want a good coach. And so because of that, you should speak to the other division coaches because they are very likely to also maybe want to play you every minute starting your freshman year. Where at the other school, they're going, you are our fifth recruit. If you break in team, great. If you don't, we'll take your full tuition. And, that's how it goes in the recruiting process. So that's why I'm just asking you to gradually ask questions. You don't have to commit to Division III. Never commit to Division III if you don't want to. But I think you'll regret it if you don't at least look into it. And that's not necessary. No reason for you to regret it. Send them one more email. It doesn't cost you any money. It's free. And then you just send them another video and it's not a big deal. And then guess what? That can help you with the Division I school, which of course is the ultimate goal for all of my students. If you want more help, give me a call. Links in the bio, links in the description, and I'll talk to you soon.